Hello again, everybody, and welcome on back to another episode of Shapes.io. I, as always, am Tyler, and I am excited to continue on with what we've been doing. I'm going to go ahead and start my timer, because as normal I forgot, but we're going to see what we can get done today. So, obviously I know right now, I'm doing a couple of things that probably don't make sense with this, but it is what it is. I'll figure something out, I'm sure. I can always convert all of this to underground stuff, and then I easily just belt it up and around and join it back in and we're fine. But for right now, what I want to do is I want to create the other half of the shape. So we're going to look at our stackers, because the big thing is we're going to have to see how much we can actually pull off of the belt before we start running into issues, just like I was doing with the other stuff. So let's go ahead and just get started on it and see how things go. Hopefully everyone is doing well today. As always, I'm wishing the best for everyone. And like I said, I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you're enjoying the series so far. Still really looking forward to seeing where we go with all of this, and eventually getting the opportunity to see how the further updates work. I think it'll be very interesting, and we'll have some fun stuff to play with once we actually end up having that released. So I think the first thing I want to do is I'm going to actually... Oh no, actually I do want to belt this group up. So we'll come over here like this, and we'll belt it on over here to the other side. And then I'm going to want to bring this up, and then for every strand that we want to do, all we gotta do is just come on over here. So this is pretty simple. All we need to do to make this work is do what we have been and just do it vertically. So we can do that. And so if we can support half of a belt, we can do 3 of these before we start running into throughput issues. So let's just go ahead and so we'll do that, combine together, and then we'll probably want to belt it actually probably down here. We'll go from there, but let's see if we can let's see if we can at least just get this sorted out before we start moving on with what we actually want to do for the rest of the processes. 1, 2, 3. And I think probably our best bet with keeping everything working properly is we're going to make our extractors faster first. And then we're going to make our belts faster, and then our probably cutting and rotating, and then mixing and painting. Because we want to at least make sure that we can fully saturate our belts at any speed, and then we want to make sure that belts can go as fast as they can. And with the way that all of this has been built so far is I can always extend. Now for granted, it's not going to work too well over here, because I kind of messed that up since I'm building stuff immediately next to it, but all part of the learning process. especially since I'm kind of trying out a new setup. And yeah, so okay, so we've got 3 of these working here, and so what I'll do is just I'll bring these down like that, and then we just go from here, and we can come down like that, and there we go. So we'll do that, and we can bring it right on down over here. And then I think what I might do is I might just make 4 of these, and then I can have a balancer, and then we'll go from there. So 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 3. Actually, we can make 1 more, so that way we've got 4 belts of production for it. Go ahead and bring that on down. And yeah, it doesn't really matter which way we're going with things, but let's go ahead and just do that. And then we can just belt straight on up. And go ahead and bring this over like this. And then we'll just kind of do this a couple more times until we get to how we want things to be. And there we go, so that fills up just fine. And then I think maybe I can do that. And that'll just line both of those up for me. There we go. And now all I gotta do is just bring on over the rest in the same fashion. Think like that. There we go. That should be back 1, so we'll just do... There we go. And problem solved. There we go. And now we can just continue with belts and stuff on over. And just gotta do this last one. Go ahead and carry that under, and we make sure that we go under again over here. Come on down. And there we go. Cool. So now we have more than enough of that shape. We'll go ahead and bring this on over. And we will now be able to start combining, and we can actually build it going down. So we'll go ahead and just line all of this up. And really, I should actually move this up just a couple more spaces. 1, 2, 3, like that. So we'll go do that for you, that for you. And we'll bring you there and bring you like that. That way, when we go ahead and actually split, we've got plenty of room to do things and can more comfortably belt stuff to whatever side we need it to. So let's go ahead and just copy both of those, and we'll go like that. And now, what I want to do is I'm going to split right there, so that way we can go down. And I think those probably both just need to be one off from one another. There we go. Give us a little bit of space, and then we will combine. And our combiners still work at the same speed, so we can actually just hold this, and we're going to go do the same strategy that we've been doing. And it's not combining right for whatever reason. Okay, well, that doesn't make any sense because it should just go together just fine, but yeah, I really don't know what else I can do if I can't get the shape to deliver properly, you know? Because I'm combining it and I have it right there, and then well, let's see here. Let's see if the internet can help us. Because luckily I'm not the only person. Ah, okay. So that was gonna be the next thing I was gonna try, but I figured I'd check it out right quick. I think I just need to put it I need to switch the direction of the inputs. Or I need to switch the what's the word for it? What's being input where? So basically from just like that quick search, I was like, I have it set up right, I just need to put this shape to be on the left side, which is actually our right side, obviously, but so we'll do that, and then we'll come over here and we'll belt under, and then there we go. All right, we did it after all this time. So yeah, let's just take a quick second to fix this, just so that way I can have things go the way I want it instead of it being slightly off. So I want you there, boom, boom. And we just need to make sure that this is our left input, and left input being this right side because it's our base, and then we overput, or on top of that we put the right side, and then we get the desired shape. And so now I just need to rotate it, and then we do this song and dance, but we do it one back, or we just completely misplace it. We do it one back. There we go. Looks a little weird because it's right after our balancer, but that's fine. But there we go. Okay. So now that we've got that settled, we can come over here, copy and paste. Actually, let's copy and paste this first, just so we can see how much space we need for things. And I'll just put a one block gap just for ease of access and visibility, you know? I don't feel like there's any real reason for that to be the case, but just kind of what I'm preferring to do for right now. So we've got that done. Let's go ahead and copy here. We want this to be our right side. There we go. We'll hook those on up. And there we go. And we'll just do the same thing with you, except I believe we want these just one back. There we go. Back and one back. And then that way when we... Oh, I actually put it two back. That's my fault. Go ahead and just fix that right quick, because it's not that big of an issue, but figure if I do it, I should try and do it right. But now, there we go. So we want that to be in line with our two rows. And then we come on over here, connect everything up, and then we place one more and tunnel under. There we go. And now we're making plenty of those shapes just the way we want. And now we can build them somewhere. Because the next thing that we're going to need to do, obviously, is start dyeing the corners, which we can actually do with our fancy new quad painter. So it's going to take the one shape, and then it's going to color the individual pieces based upon what we put in there. And luckily, we only need to dye the top left and bottom right corners, so we don't need too much. Honestly, I hope that'll work. I hope that it won't just be like weird about not having full inputs. So I guess we will see. But let's go ahead and actually start making ourselves some white dye down here. And you can get rid of you. Let's actually go ahead and get rid of all of this, because we're not making that shape anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of all of this over here too, because obviously this is where it was starting to set things up, but I think we can do better, and that's the plan. So there's just something that's kind of very cathartic about being able to just infinitely destroy and rebuild your entire setup. Maybe it's my ADHD, maybe it's, you know, a couple of different things, but I think that it ends up being pretty entertaining to just kind of go through all this and then be like, ah, you know what, I want to do something else. And really the only thing that we want to keep for right now is just this. And we can actually get rid of that. And you know what, let's actually get rid of you, and then we'll just start being like, this will just be our starting bus starting area. And there we go, so that way we can at least just have easy access to getting back to this place, and then everything will kind of build off from there. But so first thing we're going to want to do is build ourselves some dye processing, and then we can make the white dye, which we can then push into this shape and so on and so forth. And I'm debating that I think if I want to do as much as possible, we might do another like four lane splitter. And then we can kind of go from there. So okay. Let's go ahead and, before I get distracted doing other things over and over again, we will start here. It's always funny because that's a normal problem that I have with these types of games. Like, the more freedom I'm given, the more likely I am to be like, oh, well, I want this upgrade, so why don't I start working on this? And then I end up doing things just over and over and over again without actually, like, you know, completing what I meant to in the first place. And yeah, so let's go ahead and make it, you know what, let's do that. Just have it go directly from the source, and we can actually do the same thing here. There we go. And now we just need the green, which 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18. So it's not quite enough for how I want to do it. So I'm actually just going to use this source here. And we'll go ahead and just do another of the same. Make it easy on us and do that. And we'll be able to start combining things. But let's go ahead and get everything closer to over here. And go from there. But one of my favorite examples of getting caught in the loop of like, oh, well, I want to do this, but to do this, I need to do that, is actually the Sky Factory mod for Minecraft. I can't tell you how many hours I've like put into that, mainly because it's a little sad, probably, but I also don't have a record, so I can't really tell you how many hours I put into it, but just know that it's kind of too much at any given point. But you know, it's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of depth to it. There's a lot of really cool stuff you can do, and I like the progression because, you know, it makes it a little bit more like the style of game where you're constantly working on trying to make like new advancements, make things better and better, and so on and so forth. And it creates really interesting situations to do things. So it's like, you know, you take the time, you put a lot of work into it, and then you end up being able to make all sorts of like really cool like machines Like, honestly, one really nice quality of life thing that you have in Sky Factory is a mod, like Tinkerer's Tools. And, you know, literally you just, you can forge your own tool set and actually end up creating things that are like even better. And instead of your, you know, weapons and tools and stuff like that breaking, you just can repair them with whatever material you used to make them in the first place. And that's such a nice quality of life thing. So maybe we can only support really 2. That's fine. But yeah, so like I said, I mean, you can create tools, one that work better. Over time, you can actually like upgrade them the more you use it. You can use certain materials to make the tools even faster or harder or whatever. So it's like, that's really cool. And then you get a lot of opportunities for... Oh, I know what I'm missing. And then later on you get opportunities to make tools that do like area of effect stuff. So like you can mine things or farm things in like a 3x3 as opposed to like a 1 block. And then it makes mining a lot faster, especially with different upgrades you can get. And then it kind of just goes from there. And it's a lot of fun. I think it's a really good idea. I think that whoever came up with that mod and put the work into it really did a great job. And I definitely, like I said, I definitely think it has a great place in the game itself. And that's part of the reason why I have spent so much time in it, is just because you can kind of constantly be doing something, you constantly have goals to achieve, and so on and so forth. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing that we've been doing up to this point. I'm going to make sure that those copy right, and then we'll go like this. Actually, you know what? We can copy this entire row. And then all we have to do is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there we go. That's also the other nice thing about having played this for as long as I have, is that I'm getting better at figuring out, you know, ways to just make my life easier. So instead of copying like this portion and then connecting and all whatnot, I literally just realized, oh, I can just go straight down, and as long as I align things properly and I'm not constantly moving it, we're good. So now the real question is, do I want to make a belt for each die, so that way anytime I ever need it, I can just do something with it? Or, because obviously right now and for a while, we're only going to need the white die, but once we get this done, we actually get free play unlocked, which will then let us have randomly generated shapes to complete, which, you know, can be anything. So maybe it might be a good idea to just like prepare for that ahead of time as opposed to later. You know what, actually, let's go ahead and funnel these down. And if we funnel it down, we can create the layers below. And one, if anything gets faster, we can always either create more alongside here, or we'll still hopefully have some room to build off of. I have realized that the one thing I have like conceptually issues with is just general layout, because obviously like I probably should be building these certain things further away, because then it's much easier to, you know, create a new belt and stuff like that. But because if I create the new belt somewhere down here, we will run out of the ability to actually like keep moving on over here, which might obviously be fixed if I just gave more space. But like I said, this game is about the learning process, you know? And, oh, no wonder why that didn't look right. But you know, this game's all about the learning process and figuring out what works best for you, what you can do to make anything better, and so on and so forth. And that's why I don't mind putting so much time into it. I think it's really well done, I think it's well made, and it's a great time. And it really kind of pushes my own abilities even further, because I like learning how to make things better and so on and so forth. So what if we... No, let's go ahead and have it just around here, and then we'll move it up. Unless maybe we just belt underneath everything and then come up here, which might be our best bet. Would, you know, completely undoes all of this. Actually, can I just copy? Nope. Copy and rotate? No, it doesn't work like that. Okay. So I'm gonna change my mind again, but that way we can just belt whatever we're producing here under, start it over here, and then if we ever need to make more, we can keep expanding. If we ever need to do anything else, we're good on that end. So we'll make this blue, or sorry, the cyan dye first. So take you, copy, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we'll bring you on over here. Keep on going. And since this is our first one, we'll want that to be the top slot. And then we can keep going. So let's actually copy this row. And if I'm right, we should be able to do that. This comes here, this comes here, that comes like that. And all we need to do is connect those up. And there we go. So now we will start having this colored bust. And now we can work on the next one. But I think that since we've got a good bit done, I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. Thank you, Windows, for the pop-up noise. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below. Or leave a like for the video, leave a comment down below if you want to interact at all, have any tips, suggestions, anything like that. As always, I do appreciate you watching and taking the time to hopefully enjoy the video. And yeah, so I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.